I want to show how powerful the Word of God is today. I'm going to take an old message of Jonah, a very small book, only 4 chapters. The old word is speaking to the new church today. It's speaking to you and I today. So Jonah, we've heard about the whale story growing up, but if you take Jonah, it has a simple but critical message. And the message is the same message that Jesus preached. That God is asking those who call themselves children of God, as we say today, Christians, to speak about this message to our families, our friends, our co-workers who don't know about it. At the beginning of Jonah, God asked Jonah to take his message to the Ninevites, a known enemy. Jonah chooses to be disobedient to what God asked him to do, only to find himself that in his running away from God, in his disobedience, there will be no comfort. So when he finally submits to God's will, which is in the fish, in the whale, he finds comfort. And on obedience, he says, "Oh, okay, Lord, I'll do it." All right, so he goes from being disobedient to obedient, and he carries the message to the Ninevites, symbolic of the church today. The church goes from disobedient to obedience to the backsliding back into disobedience. And just like Jonah, in his state of disobedience, he finds no comfort. A message to the church today. In our state of disobedience, we will find no comfort. God has put that same requirement on his believers today to carry the message to the Ninevites, to the unbelievers of the world today. And in the book of Romans, it's described as your reasonable service. Right? The message of salvation costs you nothing. But Paul gets it when he says your reasonable service. The least you could do is tell somebody else about it. Because we tell people all week long about the football game, when LeBron playing, the sale at Macy's, what's going on Twitter, what's going on Facebook. We talk about everything else. So the least we could do is tell the people in our lives about this compassionate God that saved us. Because the message of repentance has to be told today, to give the people a chance to be saved, just like the Ninevites. And if you look at the history of Jonah, I'm not certain, but this may have been the first time that the New Testament gospel was preached to the Gentiles. And it makes sense because the Ninevites have known of the Hebrews, but they have only known them to be enemies. And this message that Jonah brought to them was a message of salvation. So picture the Ninevites who've only heard about, hey, we're going to have a battle with you guys soon. And they've heard about the Hebrews' God. So picture them now hearing a message of the first time of salvation. And they've seen the work and heard the history of the Hebrew God. That's why they jumped on it. They were like, salvation for us now? Sackcloth, ashes, we want it. So if you look at it from the perspective of the Hebrew of Jonah, the message made no sense. That a unbelieving, pork-eating, heathen people would be offered the righteous word of God without putting in any work. They ain't following no commandments, nothing, no sacrifices. They weren't making the temple offerings. The message made no sense to Jonah. But the end of the story, God brings clarity, or God tries to show Jonah, and also a message to the church today, that everything is under his control. And no matter how successful you've been, you really have no say in these things. Every decision or success that you have has really been given to you by God. So the plant growing and the plant being taken away, God manifests his power to Jonah like, I could give it to you and I could take it away like that. You have no say in the matter, really. So just like a parent and a child relationship in the early years, there's sometimes that the decision that the parent makes is one of those decisions as, because I said so. I need you to do it. Now magnify that relationship to God 100 times, and that's what God is telling Jonah, to just go carry this message to the Ninevites. Why? Because I said so. Just do it. I'm God.